2012 Dodge Challenger with the V6 310 horsepower Pentastar engine, and it's got a very bad ticking noise on the right side. The engine has about 105,000 miles on it. I run nothing but Mobil 1 synthetic oil through it. So at this point I have removed all the intake manifold and the right side valve cover. And right now the cams are in home position, so there is no pressure on any of the valves. So basically we have cylinders 1, 3, and 5. Each cylinder has 2 intake valves and 2 exhaust valves. So I'm trying to figure out what the cause of the noise was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going down the line here and I'm checking each one of the rocker arms to see if they're tight. They need to be tight. I shouldn't be able to move them at all. So those look good. Coming over here to the center cylinder, that feels tight. And then over here at cylinder 1, and sure enough, you can see that this rocker is moving all over the place. So most definitely going to be the sound, the cause of my ticking noise. Check the other rockers. It's tight. Lifter is bad. It's collapsed, or the cam follower on the rocker is wore out, and we will find out later when they get pulled out. But that's what the source of the ticking noise is. Here we have 2 rocker arms from the engine. Basically the rocker arm, this roller bearing right here, rides on the cam, and what it does is it pushes the valve open and closed obviously as it rides on the cam lobe. So this is the way the rocker arm bearing should be. It should be nice and solid. There shouldn't be any movement of it at all. So now if I take the bad rocker arm right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on the roller bearing, and you can see how much play there is right here. And obviously that's way too much. And you'll notice the play is only up and down. There's no left or right movement, but it's all up and down, and you can see how wore out it is. So that's what's causing the ticking noise. Here what I did is I cut the side off the bad rocker so we could get a better idea on what actually failed on this rocker. So you can see here the roller bearing has a series of pin needles inside of it, and you can see how much play there is up and down, and again not that much going left or right. So this is the side that the cam actually puts all the pressure on. So if we go ahead, I'm just going to slide off this roller bearing and let those needles fall out, and we can get a better look at this stud here and see if maybe we can see, yep, sure enough, you can see how bad that ridge is. So apparently what's happened here is the actual stud itself has wore out, and you can see it's okay on the top side here. It's still pretty flush, but on the bottom side it's just all chewed away, and it's still pretty decent on the left and right sides. So that's has caused all of our issues. Here you can see the engine with both of the valve covers removed. You can see each head has 2 cams, and in front of those cams there is what's called the cam phasers. There's one on each cam towards the front of the engine, and what they do is they vary the timing of the cams slightly via a solenoid on the front valve cover. If you remove these cam phasers, you are going to need a 36mm socket. Be sure that they're not placed near anything magnetic, or you may damage the phaser. If you're going to be replacing a lifter, if it's a lifter on the rear of the engine, you can probably loosen up the cam blocks that hold the cams down and lift that cam up just enough to work out the rocker and replace the rocker and probably the lifter if need be. If it's the lifter or a rocker towards the front of the engine, you're going to have to remove those cams. And removing those cams is not an easy job. I don't recommend it to anybody who doesn't have any experience. You have to pull off those cam phasers, and you can see those cam phasers have a timing chain. So with the phasers off, it's very possible to drop that timing chain down inside the engine. And again, when you reassemble, everything has to be retimed. And it's not an easy job. Like I said, if you don't have any experience, please don't try to remove those cam phasers or the cams. Because my engine had 105,000 miles on it, I decided to replace the 24 rockers and the 24 lifters. Before you get started on a job like this, you want to make sure that you have everything that you need, all your parts. Here's a list of the parts that you should have on hand. You also want to make sure that you have all the tools that you need. You're going to need torque wrenches, and you're going to need that 36 millimeter socket if you're going to have to pull all the cams off. Be sure that you also have the torque specs. You're going to need the order and the amount of torque that's going to be required to tighten everything down. So again, I want to stress this is not an easy job. Make sure you understand what's involved and what you're going to be doing. Good luck.